Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Ultimate Apocalypse casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today I've got a 2 versus 2 on Broken Lands. Playing on the Imperial Guard side, we've got Tiger Shark and we have got Yharnam Hunter. And playing for the Tyranids, we have got Stranger and we've got Zoroastria. So it's a bit of a faction war going on here. It's not quite a full themed game. We're not doing anything kind of representing a specific battle that we normally do in the theme game stuff, but it's a faction war. I might in fact actually have to at some point do a playlist for all the faction wars that we have done on the channel so far, because it's not quite this, it's not quite that, it's somewhere sweet in the middle. Now this is a very interesting map, especially for the Imperial Guard side of things. So if you notice, there's like a big open area in the middle with all your relics and critical locations and slag deposits, as well as a cheeky extra strategic point should you be able to hold it. But with the Tyranids being quite close combat orientated in the early game, this area is going to be a little bit harder for the Imperial Guard to hold. However, they have got lots and lots of choke points that they can use to their own advantage, as well as this little ridge that they can fire over. So they'll be all right if they're able to hold these bits. And then again, in saying that, if they do lose these two little choke points here, they've got like 3 more over here, and these 2 on the sides are quite narrow as well. And pathing down these places is quite difficult for massed infantry. So if the Tyranids want to push any further, I imagine they'll want to not rely so much on this swarm of spine gaunts and termagaunts and hormagaunts, etc., etc. They'll probably want to go for something a little bit more substantial, a little bit bigger. But I've spent about maybe the past 5 minutes talking about how the Imperial Guard might be a bit defensive. They're going to go for a little bit of an aggressive opening. Get some Imperial Guard riders straight out there. As we learned from a game a couple of weeks ago now, these guys are absolutely pants at destroying anything building-wise, but against infantry, they'll do the job quite nicely. Second squad coming out over here. Tech Priest Engine C, go to... Haha, I see. Just straight up build a field command, smack bang, in the middle of the map. There we go. The best offense is a good offense and a good defense at the same time. Got some spine gaunts coming over here trying to stop these Imperial Guard conscripts from taking on the critical location. I suppose one thing that's easy to forget about the Imperial Guard is that they are as much of a horde faction as factions like Tyranids. You can get lots and lots of humans on the field at once. And the best thing about these Imperial conscripts, I mean, just look how quickly they're able to reinforce. Insane. The birth rate on these humans, man. Bonkers.com. Got Imperial Guard. And I don't think this river's negative cover neither. I think it's just aesthetics. That's something to take into consideration. But my goodness, the spine gaunts just keep on coming. They've seen this field command. And while they can't exactly destroy the field command, I imagine they'll be looking for these Tech Priest Engine Seers, or at least I hope that's what they're doing. But Zoroastria going for that building instead. Horses have lost their will to fight. Over on this, I'll do some spine gaunts fighting over the conscripts. Critical location over here, we're all seeing another field command. Might, in fact, just have to zoom out the whole entire thing because there's just so much going on. Absolutely insane. We do have some Ripper Swarms coming over to build up some stuff over on top of that strategic point. Remember that in Ultimate Apocalypse, the Tyranids do have a builder unit. It's not like in Unification where they just plop their buildings down. It does seem that over here, yep, the Tech Priest Agency are still building stuff up. Spine gaunts whistling down those Imperial Guard riders. Over here, the field command also looks like it's just about to finish. Spine gaunts not able to seem to get the ire of the Tech Priest Engine Seers anywhere. He's got a bit stuck. And there we go, that field command has been finished. The guardsmen can just jump in. And instantly, they're going to absolutely wipe out everyone nearby. They've got quite an impressive range as well. So these guys, they're sitting quite pretty at the moment. Turret placement will also be finished up fairly soon, but we do have a bioplasma turret on the way. The spine gaunts certainly won't be doing anything at all against these structures. They are still going to stick around for as long as they can. There's some Imperial conscripts for them to feast on. Horsemen are now going to ride off into the distance. Do have a magma vent over here for Strange, giving them some extra bits and bobs in the economy department. But relatively close. Well, when I say relatively close, spine gaunts definitely need to focus more on the Tech Priest Engine Seers, but held them off, because now we are going for some Brood Hives, some Lictors on the way for Zoroastria. Zoroastria? I do apologise, I will mispronounce your name several times. I'm not a man well known for his consistent pronunciation of words. Relic in the middle, still up for grabs. But the range on these field commands will certainly cause these spine gaunts a bit of an issue. So what's the plan for these lictors? Is the idea just to maybe sneak around the edges and maybe do some stuff behind the front lines? You don't have double magma vents. In fact, the Stranger's gone for both the left and the right-hand side magma vents, so it's certainly interesting. We'll see some Termagants as well. Termagants and Hormagaunts. See, I'm a major fan of the little Tyranids. You always see Tyranid warriors, but you never see the little ones. I get that the Tyranid warriors are better than the straight-up smaller ones, but, I mean, just look at them. Look at these handsome puppies. They're just ready to give you a hug. That's all they want to do. And it's like a smaller version of him, with less wormy mouth. Or however you would say. A less tendrical smile. We are going to see some warriors from Strange, as well as more reclamation pools being popped down, but these guys are not willing to push out anytime soon. Although we will see some bioplasma turrets around the magma vent. Yeah, okay, fair enough, they've got this place on lockdown, but they've spent a lot of money on building up these field commands. Their opening will be slowed down quite considerably. I mean, what? Yeah, we're only just starting to get tier 2s now from Yharnam Hunter and from Tiger Shark. So a bit of an expensive opening. But it's definitely worth it just to get these extra relics in critical locations. One thing that you'll know, if you're fairly new to Ultimate Apocalypse, you've got your relic resource, so you don't necessarily need a relic to buy relic units, but you definitely need it if you want to spam them out in the late game. There's some warriors, look at that. Dark green, a khaki kind of colour. Have access to lots of different kinds of weapons, so they're general purpose kind of units. Not amazing against any one specific, but you can build them up to be good against whatever you fancy. Not quite a zone for up in the way that they can take on vehicles and buildings and stuff, but they'll do the job in this early stage of the game. Now seeing a mass of Tyranids being built up over onto this side, and just a web of construction going on down here. Turret emplacements on this side. We've got more turret emplacements as well as an infantry command, but it will be blended up by the bioplasma turrets. It does a fair bit of damage. It will try and rebuild it, but realistically, there's a limited resource for rebuilding. Infinite resource. I mean, he's got no ammo. He's got no ammo counter. He's just going to continue building that up. Turret emplacement. Not quite finished. Dead Priest Engineer are going to see if he can repair it on his own rights. We're now going to see some Tyranid warriors moving over. Will be spotted by this infantry command, but they are now armed with their venom cannons. Also going to go for an elite warrior with a rending claw. So good amount of range for Tyranids. Also going to see some Hormagaunts moving down onto this side, led by a Lictor. They're not exactly going to do much. Oh no, yeah, they're going to fire at the field command, which is a nice effort. Won't do much, but they're trying, gosh darn it. They're trying Termagants. The Trimagant, shall we say. I see a mechanized command now, so tier 2 has been finished for Yharnam Hunter. And it'll be in the vehicles that the game will be decided for the Imperial Guard. It's very rare that you see a infantry-heavy push or unit composition in the very late games for the Imperial Guard. Their infantry is basically what holds them on the first half of the game. From what I've seen, I mean, maybe there's different build orders and different ways that people do things, but generally, from these players, you tend to see a lot of vehicles the moment those mechanized commands come down. Well, I've seen now a whole host of Carnifexes on the way. Or a Screamer Killer, Hellfex. So your Screamer Killer is basically the close combat, I'll slice and dice you up. Hellfex is the one with ranged options. Seeing a mass of warriors over on this side. And what was that? Was that 3 squads? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 squads of warriors. That's 7 apiece. 7 times 4, that's 7, 14, 21, 28. I did my GCSEs. I know how to do maths. Mechanized command, keeping the scaffolding. Gonna build up some Hellhounds. Tim is just continuing to build up their numbers here. Nothing more coming from these guys. Let's have a look at the economies really quick. Oh, no, never mind. We've got push. Aha! Me trying to pad out time while waiting for action to happen. So, turret emplacements are the first things to be focused down. Got Chimera on the backside. Good at providing supporting fire, but not known for its ability to wipe out units in particular. Over on this side, we are seeing some Hellhounds murderizing the little ones, but the Carnifexes are just fine. They'll walk through that fire and flame. They've got the armoured vehicle armour type, so flame won't do much at all to them. Unless, of course, the Hellhounds upgrade themselves with the... do they have any anti-vehicle stuff? No, they don't have any multi-melters. Okay, fair enough. I like this. The Warriors see that this field command is a little bit too tanky, so just going to ignore it completely and decide to move over into the base and tap the economy. Imperial Guard saying, what? You just going to walk around our defences? That's not how it's supposed to happen. Hellhound being slashed up, trying to focus on that magma vent, and they could focus on that all day long. Bring down your Carnifexes, Zoastria. Show them the business. Warriors continue to push in. Horses are trying to give them a bit of a distraction. Horses won't last for very long, not against Tyranid warriors. As cool as horses are, love a good horse me, but they won't stand up to the rending claws of a warrior. Yeah, it's one way to defeat defense is just bypass them, which is fair enough. Magma vent has been saved by the Imperial Guard, and they will now put their own thermoplasma generator on top of it. Fire Spot Lieutenant sticks some sandbags down there, all for her. Gives her the heavy cover bonus while she's standing in there. And the Carnifexes are taking on everything, as well as a cheeky Lictor sneaking in. On this side, the Warriors continue to push in. More Chimeras are coming out, but they're not going to do much against the Venom Cannons of the Tyranids. They're going to rip apart the armour with relative ease. And all these plasma generators ready for the bonking. Field Command still packed to the brim with boys. Still could move them around, but no one's coming out to play at the moment. It's just these turret emplacements and Chimeras for now. They're willing to do something. They can't just let this happen and continue. Carnifexes over here have been wiped out, so the right side is holding fairly well. It's the left side that's struggling somewhat. Just some Imperial conscripts dying instantly. That's quite sad. There we go. Everyone's now transferring from the front lines over onto these buildings here. The moment they actually do, the Warriors are struggling quite a bit, but they've taken out that front line of plasma generators. They've done some economic damage, so that's fine. They've done their job. Well done. Although struggling on the pathing, losing a couple of models just because of the amount of lads that they've got trying to move at one time. So, okay, the economy check, 190 and 79, and 270 and 159, compared to 180 and 115, and 124 and 69. Way the meme number. So it's... I don't know, the economy's alright for all the players. It's not the end of the world for anyone. Enough to reinforce. These Tyranid warriors are now caught between, quite literally, rocks and hard places. Fire Support Lieutenant, very brave, but very foolish. Came in to do a bit of pew-pewing, and she was the one who got pew-pewed. And they've all just kind of broken off from each other. It's very polite. The Tyranid warriors got nowhere to go, so they're just going to chill out there for now. They're fine with that there. Ready for a meal and a snack later on. Double infantry commands going to be placed down here. So this part of the map, from the Tyranid perspective, is a no-go zone. Are we building up anything incredibly special? We're getting a communications tower. And we are got some plasma generators. So communications tower, maybe some air forces, which would be fairly good. I mean, these Screamer Killer Carnifexes, on account of having no ranged weaponry, will be rubbish against any buildings. Oh, sorry, any flying vehicles. Got some Oh, bugger, what are you called? Big Ravs, they're coming along. Good old Big Ravs. Going to be murdering people as they go about their businesses. And yeah, this field command having a field day. Entire squad. Not sure what your mission was there, Mr. Tyranid man. The island of Tyranids over here. We have seen these guys. Been spotted the Carnifex chamber. Stranger bringing out his own Hellfexes and whatnot. Over in the corner. I just quite like it's like a mothering brood protecting their little ones. Get David Attenborough on that. Seen some upgrades in the form of a power fist and sniper training. But it's a very static game. No one can really move all that much. Be very, very careful. It's almost like watching a game of chess. If there are some old soldiers about you in the viewership, some of you will remember battle chess. Basically like chess, but like you got to watch the actual pieces murderize each other. It's very, very cool. I used to play that game all the time as a kid. Never actually played chess properly. I just wanted to watch all the kill animations. It was quite gnarly. What are you, tunnel? Oh, you have a tunnel. Ah, I see what you were doing. So the big Ravs, right? So they came down, put a tunnel up there and put a tunnel down here, allowing all these guys to maneuver around. Very cheeky. So I'm gonna murderize the thermoplasma generator, and then while that's going on, these guys are gonna start coming on down in the center so they can reclaim all for themselves. But we are seeing some artillery. Are we seeing artillery? Yes, we are seeing artillery. Basilisks. And Basilisk saves lives. But these bioplasma turrets, they're throwing out some acidic spore mines. Doing a lot of AoE damage. Over on this side. Carnifex is causing a riot. But not as much as you'd think. Mind you, there's no tech priest agency about this place. So they'll be all rate. Hellfex Carnifexes. Incredible rate of fire for these chaps. And the Imperial Guard's defences are being gnawed upon. It does seem like the warriors from Stranger have been wiped out at the present moment. So all the additional stuff has been killed. I'm not going to focus on the field command. I'm going to focus on all the additional bits and bobs first. A big Tyrannosaurus Rex-esque roar from the Screamer Killers. And they're just chunking away at things. But combination of artillery and tank fire has allowed the Imperial Guard to reclaim, or start to reclaim, the strategic point over onto this side. So there we go. Imperial Guard looks like they'll probably save this for now. They are struggling a little bit more as the Tyranids increase in size and strength. Wonderful idea with that. In fact, oh, they've still got the tunnel. The tunnel is still there, so... Oh, they can see... Oh, that's not... Boo! That's no fun. I mean, they can put tunnels anywhere they want. So it's not the end of the world. There's always more tunnels to be had. Basilisks are going to be moving forward. Leman Russ is entering the Tyranid side, as well as these Marauder Vigilant. And the assault on the Tyranids base begins. We're seeing a Vectori Broodlord, which I believe he's the dude with the brain on the outside, if I am not mistaken. Yeah, pulsating Jimmy Neutron-esque brain going on there. Will he be able to sort the Leman Russes out? Well, that's the question. They're all hiding in the tunnel. Have you got another tunnel somewhere? No, you don't. You're pulling boys out. Just fine, but he's got his warriors now. Over on this side, Leman Russes have seen the magma vent and the Carnifex chamber, so will he be taken out? No, just a cursory drive-by then. That's fair enough. Over here, we've got a second Hive Spire on the way, so more reclamation pools, I imagine. Capillary veins allow the Tyranids to have lots of upgrades, which are very, very useful. I do believe. Warriors being absolutely wiped out over on this side. Far too much for them to deal with. These heavy weapon support teams pack quite the punch in regards to beating up heavy infantry like these, or elite infantry, shall we say, of the warriors. But the tanks not being supported very well. Lots of close combat units getting close to them, causing him issues. The special weapons teams from the field, well, spawning from the field, well, not necessarily spawning from, travelling from the field command into the open air. These Tyranids have pushed a little bit too far. Like I said earlier on, I think we saw like a bit of a static game earlier on, purely because that's maybe the main way that these two factions would have to play against each other, especially on a map like this. So when you're bringing boys down and stuff, you go too far forward. It's not ideal. You want to perk and prod, wait for your weaknesses, and then exploit them, rather than jump in all gung-ho. Imperial Guard are now edging their way into the centre of the Tyranids' main part of the map. We're seeing lots of reclamation pools around the hive spires, a planetary harvest tier 3, or tier 4 in old money. Not much being built up over here. You do have the economy for it, young man. You can do it, if you so choose. What are you building or recruiting? Doesn't seem like you're recruiting anything, to be honest. You're just building up your economies, is that it? Hoping that the Imperial Guard will flounder around in the middle, allow you to get your big stuff later on. That's my question. We are going to see another brood hive on the way. We have currently no military units for Stranger, and so yeah, so no military units for him, and no. Oh, there's literally. Is this the new strategy? Just don't bother. The pacifist Tyranid run. Is that the way we do it? I mean, the bioplasma turrets, they're doing alright for defense. They'll kill one Lehman Rust battle tank eventually. But can they kill all of this? That is my question. We are now seeing, what are we seeing? Zone tropes. Just infinite zone tropes. Okay, fair enough. I mean, zone tropes en masse are incredible. And we are now seeing a mass of gene stealers. And going for a lot of upgrades for those gene stealers. Gene stealers always start off a little bit weak. But when you get their upgrades for them, they become incredibly strong. There we go. Gene stealers will come in, distract these guys by flanking them, allowing the zone tropes to get into position. And once you've got a massive zone tropes, they're really, really difficult to take on. It's like a big death ball that's hard to counter, just because of their range and their damage output. And how quickly these Lehman Russes are falling. Very accurate as well. Yeah, these guys will now start coming out. Imperial Guard might have to think about a new defensive plan. And their defensive plan will be dropping down a what? What are you? You are a Baneblade. Tried and true, nothing special. None of these fancy schmancy Hellstorms or Storm Hammers or whatever. A good old traditional Baneblade. Can it take on the terrifying prospects of a Zone Throw Death Ball? No, it's turning its back to him, mainly because this Broodlord is causing him some issues, but dealt with quite nicely. Now we'll turn back over. The problem with the Zone Throw Death Ball is that, yes, okay, you can kill one or two of them. They can reinforce themselves, whereas a Baneblade cannot. So have one single heavy weapon support member down here. But the Baneblade is not feeling the vibes and has died, sadly. We're now seeing the health X Carnifex is from here. Been a Gene Stealer idea has been quashed for now. The Zone Tropes are massing. And they'll just basically just wash over this defensive position. Unless, of course, the Imperial Guard have anything to say about it. They've got plenty of turret emplacements up. But it's a very difficult thing for the Imperial Guard to deal with. All the Imperial Guard's range stuff that can match them in range and damage output is usually vehicular. And while Zone Tropes are good against them, But Imperial Guard troopers, they can get in and maybe do a little bit more damage. They might be a little bit more useful depending on the scenario, but physically getting close enough to use your weapons on these guys, well, that's another story entirely. So it's quite hard to counter zone threats from the Imperial Guard perspective. But we are seeing some attempts, another Baneblade being shown down here. But we see this so many times in games where players will send one unit at a time towards Death Ball. You can't be doing that. You need to gather them all up into one mass and then send them out together. Kind of like what Strange did with his zone tropes. They didn't send like one unit of zone tropes in at a time, wait for them all to be massed together, then started pushing. Which is a very key skill to learn and embed in your gameplay. And I, for one, still don't do it all the time myself, even though I say it in nearly every game. But Minister and Priest is on his way, very resistant to incoming range damage. If anyone's going to take him on, it's going to be this boy. He comes in and he's zapping them with magic and stuff, making them feel quite sad. I think that's like a general slur. Got a Hive Tyrant with wings. That's gnarly, man. Very cool. He's got a big zapper as well. I mean, the Minister and Priest charge, that was quite impressive. But like I say, needed to be backed up with something else. If he charged in as well as the Baneblade started firing, as well as the artillery was providing some covering fire, as well as the conscripts were doing a bayonet charge. You know, if you had all that stuff working in tandem, it would work, but sending it in one at a time is just not going to butter one's parsnips. Do have the F-Shaker platforms and the Basilisks on the backlines. In fact, a significant amount of Basilisks doing stuff. Doesn't seem that the Zone Tropes have any trouble with any knockback. You know, they've got no kind of like stun or anything, they just stand there. Which is a bit of soft power, I would say. Not something most people take into consideration when thinking about balancing a unit, but the fact that it's not being able to be knocked down is quite important, I would say. Guys still ignoring the field command. If it worked before, it'll work again. Leman Russ Conqueror on his own will struggle somewhat. Got some more Basilisks over onto this side. I mean, on the right flank has just not worried whatsoever. They've been quite cool. But we are seeing what have we got going on for defense purposes here. We have got Mars pattern commands, got armoured stuff, we've got Titan. There we go, Titan assembly. If anything is going to resist the Death Ball, it's going to be Titans. Zone Tropes are now falling back. We are seeing a Storm Lord. Look at this chunky boy. It's just like a land ship from World War I almost. No big turret on the top. There we go. Combined arms fire. Stormhammer, Stormlord, also a Baneblade on the side as well. They're starting to push back the Zone Tropes. That's what Imperial Guard are all about. They're all about teamwork. One lasgun does not a firing line make, but get the squad together, concentrate fire, and you're on to a winner. Hellfire and darkness being blasted down over there. Good lord. Purple stuff being fired back. It's not a pretty time. And Stranger, he sees the writing on the wall. He put all his money, all his effort into this Zone Threat ball. The Stormlord was exactly what the Doctor ordered. And you can't really argue with the results. These guys were walking around like they own the place. Now they've been brought low by their numbers. Or lack of numbers, shall we say. But yeah, it was a really interesting game. Like I said at the beginning, I thought it was going to be that Tyranids would have the open ground over on this side, and the Imperial Guard would have to play a defensive game. But no, an aggressive defensive opening helped them capture this central bit. And the Tyranids, like, yeah, okay, they got a couple of good little bit of aggressive stuff. They got some move down here, did some damage. They got a not a teleporter. They got a tunnel down here which was very useful and creative, but in the grand scheme of things, the steel and metal of the Imperial Guard held on for forever. Cool, anyway, thank you for sending in the game, chaps. If you'll have like a look at the Discord and play games like this, there is a Discord in the description, and I've got a Patreon. £1 a month gets you 1 extra game a week. All the usual gubbins. My name's been Mr. Landshark. Pleasure as always, never short. I will see you in a bit. Peace.